Okay, first things first. I know we were on a break. I said I'd take some time off, you all nodded politely, and now here I am crashing back into your ears like Ross crashing into literally every romantic situation ever. But here's the thing, sometimes a story comes along that's so good, so packed with public speaking disasters, passive-aggressive Swiss teams, one near strangulation during a celebratory hug, and an overly competitive lecturer who may or may not have threatened to quit if they didn't win. For that, you just have to break the break. So this is the break within the break. A rogue episode, an unscheduled burst of hospitality excellence, because I couldn't not share the tale of Team Zenith. 5 students from the Edge Hotel School who rolled into the EM Cup, confused everyone with choreography, and walked away with the trophy. They are smart, they are slick, they are slightly chaotic, and they manifested their way to victory with triangle hands, savage optimism, and enough stage presence to make LinkedIn need a lie down. So cancel your coffee, postpone your nap, and prepare to meet the only team in history to weaponise group branding and win a European hospitality competition while absolutely winging it beautifully. This is Hospitality Meets Team Zenith. And yes, we were on a break, but in true Ross Geller fashion, I pivoted. And a massive Hospitality Meets welcome to, it is official now, a group of students from the very best hotel school that exists in all of Europe. How are you doing?
Really good. Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. So I'm joined by 5 people today, which is a first for me. I've never done a podcast with 5 people before, so you all have to bear with me as well. But maybe we could just kick things off by going around the room, and I'm just going to do that on the basis of who I see on my left top side, and that is Emma, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
So hello, my name is Emma Sharma. I'm a hotel management student at the Edge Hotel School, and I'm currently on the 2-year course. I finished my degree in August, and hopefully I'll be moving on to a graduate scheme.
Fantastic. And next up is Meghan.
Hi, I'm Meghan. I'm also in the hotel management course for the 2-year one. I finished in August too, and I'm hoping to maybe travel on a cruise ship for a while and then come back to do graduate schemes.
Awesome. Then you and I should speak, because that's exactly where I started in my career as well, on cruise ships. Yeah. So yeah, let's have a chat about that off microphone at some time. Just reach out and we'll give it a natter. The best job ever, by the way. Just gonna say. Excellent. Thank you very much. And next up is Fernando.
Hello, my name is Fernando Odio. I am a 3rd-year hospitality management student. I do the 3-year course, and I'm originally from Costa Rica, so I'm looking to continue to develop in the UK hotel industry, hopefully permanently, if that's possible.
Very good. Excellent. You're very welcome. And Chelsy is next.
Hello to everyone. I'm Chelsy Rafael. I'm as well from El Salvador, Latin America. I've been here living for like about 5 years already, and I'm a student in event management. I'm in my 2nd year, so I still got 2 years left.
Excellent. Good stuff. And then last but not least, we have Isabelle.
Hello, my name's Isabelle White and I'm an events management student. I'm on the 2-year course and I'm graduating this summer, and my goal is to own my own wedding venue.
Excellent. Well, there we are then. What a cross-section of interest and future direction and all of that. And actually, that was something that I did want to kind of touch on. And I'll just ask all of you, and anybody can just kind of jump in quickly. But yeah, what's your ambition for hospitality? I mean, Meghan and Isabelle have kind of highlighted very specifically what's next. But what's the ultimate goal as things stand today? Anyone can chip in.
I'd hope to potentially go down an executive route, so less so the operational side, but hopefully become a CEO one day, maybe in my 40s. That's the goal. So I'm just going to work towards that.
An age-specific goal as well. Nothing like putting yourself under a bit of pressure to achieve that. Well done. Yes. Anyone else? What are your lofty ambitions?
Well, in my case, because I still have 2 years in university, I first want to kind of like finish all my lectures and all of my time here at Edge. I want to also leave a legacy once I leave from here, from Edge. And once I finish, I see myself like maximum 10 years being like an owner of my own business. I still don't know what is it going to be because I'm still looking into the gaps in the market, but that is one thing that I'm actually looking into, apart from gaining the experience in the hospitality industry, which is what we're all here for.
Very good. Meghan, you were going to chip in.
Oh, I was going to say, at first I wanted that just to travel, and then I want to come back to go into the HR training route. And I actually wanted to do that recently from actually the M Cup of speaking to our hotel manager Stevie. So that's like a new interest of mine to like go into when I come back for that.
Super. And Fernando, because Isabelle, we already know that you're going to have a wedding venue, so there we are. Yeah.
Yep, I'm very clear on my goals.
Yeah, for me, it's actually also came from talking to Stevie during the EM Cup. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but then seeing what a GM has to think of, there's so much, and there's a lot of organization required. But it's really appealing to me, especially the aspect of managing people, managing different departments. So yeah, I'm hoping to be a GM under like before I turn 35, and for I really like design center hotels. So for example, you have Lore Group, which they take a lot of inspiration from the place they're from to design their like indoors. So that's the area I want to go into, some sort of more artistic route in hospitality.
Very good. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose this is one of the great things about the Edge Hotel School is their connection to industry, right? So they've got avenues for you to all explore that can help you kind of, I suppose, get closer to your goal. I don't know if they've got a cruise ship avenue though, Meghan, but if you're listening, guys, let's get on it. But yeah, anyway, no, that's great. And was there a moment in your life so far where you began to think to myself, yeah, do you know what, hospitality is absolutely the thing that I want to go and pursue? Was there a light bulb moment that you all had?
I think for me personally, I actually just stumbled across hospitality off of a school trip. We went
Really?
to the
Right.
Edge Hotel School, and I think the flexibility of it and kind of the unlimited opportunities that it can provide me with, it just seemed like a perfect fit and fit with me as an individual. So from there, I just didn't really look back.
Nice.
For me, I'd say I was very much rooted in STEM subjects in school, and I was clear on that was the decision I'm taking in life. But I think I came to a point where I thought, is this actually what I want to continue doing? And the realization that it's not something I enjoyed anymore. I think, just like Izzy, I ended up stumbling upon it after looking online, and I just thought it's something new every day. It still has challenges, and I thought, why not give it a go?
Yeah. But I'm just a bit concerned that the two of you had to stumble upon it rather than being directed to it. But anyway.
Well, in my case, it was slightly different but similar at the same time because my pathway that I had planned when I was 17, it was absolutely different. But because I had a rejection from the industry that I wanted to go into, I was just in a moment, I was feeling, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should go to uni, apprenticeship, should I start working? Should I just stay without doing anything? And then I remember that one day a guest speaker came to our college and she was talking about Edge. And then I remember that the same amount of years that you are studying in this university, you can also say that they are years of experience. So then I thought, you know what, instead of doing anything, I'm just going to go. And at the beginning, I actually didn't know what I was actually doing. But with the time, I started realizing that hospitality is actually my passion and it's turning into a passion the more that I do it.
Yeah, well, and that's great to hear, right? Because like it's one thing to have the theoretical desire to do something, but actually, until you get your head into it, you're never really going to truly know. So it's great to hear that you've kind of backed up that theoretical desire with a bit of practical experience now.
I've always wanted to do it actually since I was 12. So I've always wanted to do cruise ships. So I always worked towards that. So like at school, GCSE wise, I'd study Spanish and French and business. And A levels, I did business, finance and anthropology. So I've always wanted to work with cultures or languages in that way to work towards being into hospitality and like cruise ships. So
Nice.
complete opposite to you guys.
But that's cool, right? I mean, that's kind of one of the joys of hospitality is like, like you can come at this from many angles, and the pathway to where you want to get to is varied, interesting, wild, everything. It's like just a really colorful career trajectory. I might be a bit biased, but anyway, that's me. Fernando, bring us home. How did you find it?
Same as Megan, I kind of always knew I wanted to do it, probably like when I was a teenager. And then actually, what's really interesting is that I was really, it wasn't exactly something that like my college counselors or my parents were looking forward to for me, because they saw it as a very competitive industry that it was really hard to develop in, which it is. It's a very competitive industry. But I think part of that is the thrill, and part of what drew me to it is that you really have to work for to do well. And so yeah, I was always really drawn to it. There were a lot of barriers that kept me from doing it, but in the end, I guess I had my light bulb moment as soon as I started in Edge and working at Webino House and in all the opportunities they give us, because it's a really good way to see if what you're doing is what you want to do. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And how did you find Edge Hotel School, right? Because I mean, it's on my doorstep, but it's definitely wasn't on your doorstep in terms of how you find these things. So yeah, how did you come about, and why did you want to go to Edge specifically?
Yeah, for me at least, yeah, I'm in the other side of the pond, but Essex came to do some talks for my school to like attract recent graduating like high school students, and it just drew me. I guess it was the only university that also had a hotel school that appealed to me. I think a lot of the way the like industry works in terms of hospitality academia, I think there's a lot of hospitality schools and they're really, really good at hospitality specifically. But I was looking for a more like culturally rich experience when it comes to university and moving abroad, because that's ultimately what I was going to do. And Edge had hands-on experience as well, really good hands-on experience, mind you. And so yeah, it was almost an immediate. It was my first choice as soon as I graduated, and thankfully I made it, because I wouldn't have had it any other way, I think.
Yeah, that's really cool though, because I would have killed for that when I was a student, in terms of being able to take what I was learning in the classroom and then just like apply it like day to day. And yeah, so I mean I think what it has is really really invaluable, and also quite rare now, I think, as well. Like there's a few overseas that obviously have this, and I'm sure we'll talk about maybe some of them in the fullness of the discussion when it comes to talking about the competition. But in the UK, I think the Edge is pretty much it when it comes to you have a live hotel right next to you, which just gives you that valuable experience. But anyway, this is not about a promotional video for Edge Hotel School, but Adrian can send me the check later. That's fine. So let's get on to the competition, because well, how did this all come about? Where did the competition idea come from in terms of we should put a team in?
So for years, the school actually wanted to enter the competition, but it had a reputation for being nearly impossible to win, as it was dominated by the Swiss hotel schools. So it was, I guess you could say it was quite political in that way, that they thought we had no chance in winning. But then there was a representative from Marriott at the careers fair, and I think he had a conversation with her, and she definitely said once she met quite a lot of ed students that we had a good chance at winning. So thanks to the rep from Marriott, they entered us into the competition, and here we are today speaking
Wow.
about our win.
God, that's a proper sliding doors moment, isn't it? Right there.
Yeah.
Like, if that person doesn't sow the seed, then maybe we're not talking today about not just the competition, but actually, spoiler alert, winning. It's quite yeah, I find all of that kind of stuff really fascinating, like the what ifs. What if it hadn't happened, but here we are, and we're able to talk about it. So what is it? What is the competition, for those who have never come across it, like me, until I got the notification that you guys had won? I didn't even know it was a thing.
So the M Cup is one of the largest hospitality competitions in the whole of Europe. It's for all the top hospitality schools to go head to head and kind of compete on real life scenarios. This year, I think there was 24 schools that entered, and it was just 2 days of just intensive kind of battling between each other with a panel of industry experts.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, for me, I'm like trying to take myself to that position. I'd have been absolutely, for want of a better phrase, crapping it.
We were.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good. Nerves are good. But why did you guys specifically want to enter? And this is obviously a question for you each individually. Yeah, like what attracted you to the prospect of, let's face it, taking yourself outside your comfort zone, stretching, your knowledge, or maybe testing your knowledge against, what are considered to be some of the best hotel schools in the world?
So I said to myself when I joined university that the one thing I wanted to do was make the most of any opportunities that come up, because I felt that when I was in school, I didn't necessarily do so. So I thought this is an amazing opportunity. I get to go abroad, I get to meet loads of industry, and I thought it's going to build my network. I can't see any downside to it. And I'd be lying if I didn't also think that, oh my God, it's a free holiday. So I guess that sweetened the deal a
There we
little bit
are.
as well.
There we are. We've got to the root of it now. Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, no, the main thing was that I thought, let me make the most of this opportunity. Not many people can say that their university took them abroad during their degree to go do a competition. So I thought, why not?
Yeah. Absolutely. Nice one.
I did it for my personal and professional growth. So obviously, like one of my weaknesses in my soft skills is like presenting on stage to a lot of people. So this was completely out of my comfort zone. So with like the team and that, they all like helped me like personally a lot with that, and I managed to perform to 500 people on stage at the end. So it's a complete like turnaround for me confidence wise. So definitely, I want to do that just to like put myself out there way more and like gain just new soft skills basically.
Yeah, and I suppose with that, it's kind of like I mean, I jest about the nerves. The nerves are natural, and we should embrace them because they help us and all of that kind of mindset stuff. But actually, it's the same principle as everything. Like the fear of doing something is always way worse than doing it. And when you get into the flow of stuff, it's usually you remember your training, as it were, and that's when it comes back to help you. Fernando, why did you want to specifically get involved?
Yeah, definitely to challenge myself. And our lecturer, Alex, who presented the idea to us and was our coach throughout the entire journey, pretty much, really motivating. And I remember I was in class and he was presenting the idea and he said, Fernando, you think of applying? And I said, I don't know. I feel like I have a lot of work going on, a lot of things. It's final year, you have a dissertation to write. And yeah, and it sounds really scary. And he literally said such a simple thing, but it's true. And it was, what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen? And he was right. There was nothing bad that would come out of this. Absolutely not. So similarly to Emma, I just really wanted to grab every opportunity I could in my final year, and I'm really happy I did.
No doubt, no doubt. Chelsea?
Well, to be honest, when I first heard the EM Cup inside me, I had something that was telling me, Chelsea, do it. Chelsea, do it. But there was another side of my brain that was saying, you shouldn't, because you're only in level 5 and everyone is in level 6. They have more experience, they know more. Chelsea, you're at level 5. But then with all those thoughts, I went to our mentor, Alex, and I said to him, should I or should I actually know? And then he said, Chelsea, why not? You literally have everything that he needs. And then I thought, well, I'll think about it. The day before the applications was going to finish, I started doing everything and I thought, I'm going to have it a go. And when I did it, I feel great. And I said to myself, I'm going to set some goals out of what I want to get out of this competition. And it was that I wanted to test myself, get the most out of my time in uni. I'm in my second year, I still got 2 years, and I'm already doing this in my second year. I can't imagine myself, what am I going to be doing in my final year? Then I wanted to build my confidence in public speaking as well. I wanted to see what was beyond I knew what I could do. I wanted to test myself. What else can I do? I can do presentation in classrooms. I can go in university and talk to the people around. But what else? And I thought this EM Cup competition that is all around Europe, that's the perfect place to test myself of what am I actually capable of.
I mean, no doubt, for sure. Maybe do a presentation to 15 people first or something, I don't know, work your way there, but no, straight in at the deep end. But yeah, no, good on you. And Isabelle, why did you specifically want to do it?
Well, first of all, I just thought it was a great reason for a LinkedIn post.
Very good.
It turned out to be one of the best experiences ever, so I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, originally it was just like a why not moment. Let's network with some international people and get a LinkedIn post out of it.
Very good. So you're a LinkedIn, slave? Is that the
LinkedIn warrior?
Yeah.
Very good. Well, I do hope that that's also part of the process of getting yourself out there as well, right? Is that
Exactly.
LinkedIn gives people a window into your soul as to who you are and what you stand for. So yeah, but no, that's great to hear. So Alex sounds epic, by the way. Like, where would any of you guys be without somebody like that, right? So, basically pushing you to do something that maybe you don't necessarily want to do.
He is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, big shout out to Alex. And we'll leave it there. Sorry, Alex, that's all you're getting. So how was the team formed? Because you're five amongst, I don't even know how many students there are at Edge Hotel School, but how did they decide that you guys are the ones to bring this cup home to us?
Well, I'll go for that question because I remember it from the beginning till the end. Well, at Edge, we are around 100 students. And as you are meeting only five of us, we are kind of like representing the whole university. But it was quite tough. It was tough, the process that we had to do. We had to present our CV that shows actually yourself what have before coming to uni, what have you been doing. Your CV is so important it was so important in this matter when we were applying. We had to do a trial paper where we had to write about well-being. We had to talk about it. Why was it important for us? What could we do in the industry, like based on ourselves, based on what we know? How could that help the industry in terms of well-being? So it was like 2,000 words paper. Then that was not the end. That is only the first part. We had to record a TikTok or a reel on Instagram. It had to be around 1 minute, and you also had to be yourself, introduce yourself, say why you want to go, and also talk about well-being. That was only the first part,
Right.
right? Then we cut the second part where it was a debate. It was a team of four divided into two, so it was a debate between two and two. I remember when we were debating, my buddy, it was Meghan. We only had 5 minutes to research on the topic that they gave us because we didn't know absolutely nothing the day before. It was only when we arrived we found out what we had to do. So we had 5 minutes to research, to get ready on how we were going to do the debate, and then we had 8 minutes debate. It doesn't sound like a lot, but if you think about it, you are trying to debate and compete against hundreds of students that are all debating right now who is going to be the best. So yeah, it is 8 minutes, but everything is in there all together, and they were looking into us basically. Then that was not the end, that was the second part. We moved to the last part, which were interviews. And it was not only one interview, to be honest. It was like five different interviews with five different people from Edge Hotel, from Women Our House Hotel, where we do our practices. It was from university. And if I'm not wrong, each interview was around 10 minutes. So if you think about it, like a whole hour of interview, asking you, why do you think you should go to this competition? What are your skills? What could you bring to this team? Etc., etc. And then there were quite a few steps, to be honest. But I'm pretty sure the five of us that we are here, we just thought this is the last step. If we get it, we get it. But at least we put our hands up that we tried it to do our best. And here we are, the five of us.
Right. So it was literally a whittle down, a whittle down, a whittle down, and then finally you get you guys.
Us.
Yeah.
And all of the pressure of the world just comes onto your shoulder in that moment. Yeah. So when you kind of guys knew that this is the team, the dream team, we'll call you the dream team. Why not? What happened next in terms of I would imagine the focus then has to shift on like the task at hand. Was there any part of you that went, oh my God, what have I done?
Yeah,
Right.
Alex was very confident and determined to win. He actually told us that if we didn't win, that he's going to quit his job.
Oh, God.
So
I'm retracting my shout out to Alex, by the way. That's yeah, jeez. Talk about pressure.
He was just encouraging us. But yeah, it was definitely really daunting because suddenly everyone just expects you to kind of win overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know, I saw Alex at the careers fair. Was it the careers fair at the
Oh, the student conference, I think.
that's
Is that
it,
the one?
student conference. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what it was. And it was the first time I've ever seen him / met him, and even just that few moments that I saw on stage of him as he was introducing you guys, I thought, oh my God, he is competitive. Like you can tell.
Yeah.
Competitive isn't the word.
Yeah.
Yeah, he cares a lot. I think that's where it like stems from. But yeah, I was gonna say, adding to what Izzy said, like people do expect you to like win overnight, but also as we were introducing each other, we don't all do the same course, so we didn't really know each other that well. We hadn't worked with each other before. So that was a really big challenge because we found out very soon enough that this competition requires you to really understand each other's strengths and weaknesses, know like who can step up to the plate at different occasions. So that was something we really had to train ourselves on. And it was even more challenging because our schedules are so different. But yeah, it was hard, I think.
How much we actually did get to know each other really helped us out in the end, though, because every judge
Yeah.
said they could really see that we were united and we was a team when we were on stage presenting. So the fact that we didn't know each other and had to spend that extra kind of time and effort understanding everyone really helped us out in the long run.
You could totally argue that that's great training for leadership, right? In the end, is that
Exactly.
how you put a good team together. Who? Let's give the people who are strong at something the thing that they're strong in. That's where their energy is going to be, and so on and so forth. So indirect leadership training going on right in front of your eyes, as it were. But so what was the focus for the actual competition then, in terms of what did you have to actually do? Other than get your free holiday, obviously.
Yeah, I can take this one if you want. But basically, so we've got a case study about well-being in the hospitality industry, and we had to do a white paper report linking that to 3 other industries. So we chose hospitals, policing, and aviation, and then we had to go into each industry and pick a point like what did well with their strategies for well-being, what went wrong with their strategies, and also how we could put those into actual hospitality practices. So after we handed that report in, so we had to make our 3-minute pitch. And that was a lot of stress itself to make sure it was under 3 minutes. And that's what we did at the conference too. So that was round 1. And then round 2 was we got a new case study, and we had to basically edit our first pitch to make it fit in with the new case study of innovation. And we chose to do Buddy and the Bees and break rooms. So that was a whole new idea we could present to the judges. And then what was the next? Round 3, we did edit that pitch again, and then that's when we got into the top 10, which we couldn't actually believe that. I can't lie. We were like, what? And then we got into the last round, which was Dragon's Den, and that was presenting our new pitch again, but to 500 people with a 10-minute question Q&A at the end, and that itself was something different since like we've ever done before. But that was the whole competition basically.
Right. Yeah. So, and that Q&A is like the biggest anomaly ever, right? Because with all the prep in the world, somebody could just throw a question in which you have not thought of, trained for, considered, or anything. Did that happen? Did you have any questions that came up where you were like, "Oh my God, we've got to think on our feet"?
I feel like we had tough questions, but the fact that
Yeah.
we knew what we were doing and what we were talking about, that helped us a lot compared to other teams that they just came up with random ideas and they didn't know the inside out of it. But because we actually worked as a team, we all talked to ourselves what we all knew. We were all in the same page, and I feel like that actually helped us a lot in terms of the questions.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think a massive part of us winning. Oh, sorry.
No,
I
please
think
go.
a massive part of us winning was how well the Q&A was answered. So even if there wasn't necessarily a direct answer, we still broke it down into a smaller piece and tried to answer it as best as we could in the moment, rather than just saying, "Oh, we'll get back to you on that," or "We're not really sure."
Very good. But I mean, that you can't really get back to them, I suppose, in a competition, can you? Yeah, we're sorry. That's we don't know the answer to that, but tough. But yeah, so a couple of you have already kind of alluded to the commitment to this on top of, because this is something on top of your existing schedule in terms of your workload for school, but also your workload for work as well. So how do you go about making that happen? Because it seems like such an easy thing in principle to think of, but actually, if you're time poor anyway, finding extra time is pretty tough.
Yeah, it was really, really tough. I think, especially the way the schedule worked, we had it right like in the middle of our Christmas break. So we really had to find the time, and we really had to keep ourselves motivated to do it. For example, I remember not only us, also our coaches were really committed to the competition and the cause. So then they presented us with the idea of going to the student conference and presenting our pitch. And well, it was a really big setback. It didn't go exactly as we planned, but genuinely, I think we can all agree that that was the turning point for us. Like post conference, that's the moment where I felt like, okay, this is all of our number one priority. Like we were all meeting each other, whether it was on Zoom, whether it was after classes in the dead middle of the night. We actually spent the time really working on everything we could do before the competition. And I remember thinking in the moment, like, this is crazy. Like we are actually putting our heart and soul into this. So it was really helpful. And also we had a lot of help, not only from our coaches, but also Eliasa Sakiri, the general manager for Sutter Hotels. She was there as a mentor, helping us every step of the way, really giving us very valuable feedback. So part of the commitment was also getting this feedback from powerful voices and applying it to what we were presenting.
That is
I think we were so mortified after how bad it went at the conference.
Really?
Because
Yeah.
it was dreadful.
It was humbling.
honestly.
Right.
And Alex made such a good judgment of kind of not to mollycoddle us in that moment and kind of tell us how bad it actually was in reality.
Yeah.
That we kind of all then decided to dedicate just our complete lives to it because we couldn't be that mortified on stage again in front of a bigger audience.
Yeah, it was crazy because in my case, when we were talking on stage, it was our first time talking in front of hundreds of people in the conference. Some of us, we blanked out.
That was me.
I'm not naming, I'm not saying names. In my case, personally, I completely forgot my lines. I was only saying the conclusion, but I blanked out. But I started filling words. I started saying random things. And I remember that day, honestly, I'm not gonna forget it because in front of hundreds of people, I said, we are gonna win this competition. I'm telling you, and I'm giving you my word that we're gonna finish first, no matter what we're gonna finish because we are Edge Hotel School. We're gonna become as the best hospitality school in Europe. In that moment, I didn't know we were gonna win. But honestly, I just had my faith, and that was it. I thought, I don't know what I was gonna say in my conclusion, but let me end it positively. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, I was there, right? And the thing is, right, is that as an audience member, I thought it was all right. But I could just, and now I have this vision of you guys.
I think that's very kind of you, but I wouldn't necessarily agree.
I think if you compared it to the pitch that we presented on stage, it's totally different people because of how much we developed and just it's a totally different pitch in all honesty.
Yeah.
We had choreography, we had everything going on.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I suppose it highlights as well, like, I mean, that in a way was a little training moment, right? And you have to fail to get better. So, if you guys thought that you failed on that day, I didn't think it came across that way, but that was my starting point and my end point. So I had no real reference to it. But, you obviously took the lessons that you learned from that, probably driven by, I've just got this vision of Alex off stage, like kicking over tables and, like just, this is terrible, why did we do this? And all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, you took the learning and you moved forward. And obviously that paid off by taking this moment, to train yourself in a really uncomfortable environment, which is any kind of public speaking in front of any quantity of people. I think it is the number one feared thing in the world is public speaking. So you're already way ahead of the vast majority of a lot of people who just wouldn't put themselves in the position in the first place. So you're either geniuses or stupid. I don't know. You guys decide.
Which is debate.
Yeah. Okay. So that was the setback at conference. You regrouped, obviously. Describe the experience when you get there. Like, what's that like? Because I'd imagine there's also a lot of your peers at the Edge Hotel School who are now, because of what you've been through, are like, oh, maybe I might want to do that next year.
So Adrian actually sent us as kind of test dummies because no one expected us to win.
Right. Okay.
So we were there to
proper
kind
guinea
of
pigs.
yeah. We were there to see what it was, maybe go back in a couple of years and then go back and try and win it. But as soon as we kind of stepped off the coach and got into the hotel, these kids had been rehearsing for ages. They were there to win. I mean, it was very competitive that we just kind of had to match their energy and just give it us our all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I don't know if it's a little bit cheeky to say, but on the first night, there was like a mix up for everybody to try and get to know each other before the competition starts.
Right.
And so we were just chatting amongst, the competition, scoping it out. And we may or may not have potentially given the impression that we had no idea what the competition was about and that we had not rehearsed whatsoever.
Yes. Mind games. Mind games. Yes.
Yeah, so we were really playing it off as, we're not the competition here. We're here to see, maybe have a little
We're here for the
holiday.
experience.
Yeah, just the experience. So when we came fighting on the first day, I would say it's safe to say everybody was shocked, because that's not the impression we had given beforehand. But it was definitely funny to see the look on people's faces that, oh my God, it's their first year. How on earth have they knocked this out of the park?
Brilliant, brilliant. I thought when you said when we were mixing with people, I thought you were going to say we might have slipped in, some liquid diarrhea or something like that to the competition. But no, that's a better one. The mind games is definitely better, and it's not cheating. The diarrhea would have been
we also
cheating.
got a lot of tips and tricks as well from previous coaches that have been going for like over 10 years. Simple things like when a judge asks you a question, saying thank you for your question. It was the little things like that we got told that definitely made the difference in the end.
Right. Yeah. That's a cracking story. Any other stories from your time of the competition? I mean, it feels like this whole thing is just one big story, to be honest. But anything else that funny, stupid, quirky that happened?
Honestly, there are so many stories that in 2 days it all happened. There are ones from my side, when I started the competition, we had to sell our skills. But there is one that we all saw it and it's all recorded. We can all find it, and it's on LinkedIn as well in all of our posts, which is that when they said we were the first winners, like first place, all together we went to the stage. We were hugging each other. We were jumping around. And the general manager of Bruno House Hotel, he hugged Fernando around the neck. He was about to kill him.
GPS signal lost.
Because he was so excited about what was happening that he was hugging around his neck. He couldn't even breathe, and you can see him. He can't breathe. But he's still
I couldn't. I could not. You're so right, Chelsy. I couldn't breathe.
I've just won this competition and now I'm dead.
And now I'm about to die. That's what it felt like, yeah. But we were all thrilled, so I didn't even notice until watching the video later, like, oh, that's why I couldn't actually breathe. I thought I was so excited. It was because he had his arm around my neck. It was so funny.
And take a sticker out of it, like both of them jumping together, like.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I think another story from our start at the competition is they actually got up on stage and announced every single school individually.
Oh, yeah.
So one by one, we watched every school get introduced, and then they just completely left out our school. They didn't mention it, didn't know we were there.
Oh, these little whippersnappers, they're just here.
Just completely forgot.
Yeah. My God. Wow. Forget you at their peril, then, is what it is. But describe the feeling then. I mean, you've showcased it in terms of obviously Fernando nearly dying, but what is the feeling like when your name is called out in a competition like that, where maybe the expectation at the beginning of this was not particularly high? I mean, as you said, Adrian was sending you into your death, basically, to to die for future generations, as it were. But so was there a point, and this is, I suppose, two questions really. Was there a point in the competition, in the midst of it, where you started to think to yourself, do you know what, guys? I think we're doing all right, and I think we might have a chance. You're all nodding your head. So, except Chelsea. Chelsea just shook her head. So.
It was when we finished our last pitch,
Yeah.
the Dragon's Den one, the judges, they actually got up on stage and said who they think should win, like who their deciding vote would be. And every single judge put us as first or second place.
Yeah.
So I think 3 of them put us as first and 1 of them put us as second. So after that, we were all so confident that we were going to win. So we just started celebrating from that moment.
Yeah.
We also had people come up to us as well.
In my case, I remember the first pitch that we did. and we had three teams in one room. We were, was it the first or the second one? I don't remember exactly which
I
one it
think
was.
we were first.
Yeah, we were
I think
first.
so
Yeah.
too. So we were the first team presenting. There were two schools on the side, the jury members in front of us. We were in the middle, and we were with the timing in front of us. But when we finished on time, saying the perfect words, doing our choreography, everyone in the whole room were with their mouths open, like, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
we
went,
are
"Ah,
that
forget it,
team.
forget it, it's done,
But
it's
the two
done."
teams that were on the
Yeah.
side, they were just saying, yeah, no, we're screwed up. Never mind. When I saw their faces, I thought, you know what? Maybe we have the potential to win.
It was
Yeah, I
also
think we
other
definitely
time.
set the bar really high.
Yeah.
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 Like that night as well, people would like be pointing at us and saying that's Edge Hotel School. They'd come up to us saying, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you," and they know our names too. I'm like, "Oh, you know us now." It was really weird,
Yeah.
like a whole different game.
Honestly.
Yeah, we had like a triangle formation. So apparently, I never saw this. This is word of mouth. But apparently, like after our first couple of pitches, people were like telling each other like, "Oh, that's edge," and they would do a triangle with their hands. So like the word was easily spread. Apparently, they like knew what we were doing. It was kind of weird, but yeah, it was good. People were finally like knowing who we were, I guess.
But it worked though, because that was our branding. We essentially
It was.
created a brand out of the team. So our plan worked in the end.
Yeah,
Honestly.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It
yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
be copied by anyone, to be fair. It was something so unique that was representing our brand that if somebody else wanted to copy it, they couldn't, because that would seem like a copy. That was our brand and nobody else could copy it in 2 days. That wouldn't be impossible. So it was
Yeah.
something so unique that we all made out of the blue. But it
Yeah.
was honestly.
Nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, describe the feeling then. The is it somebody stood on stage with an envelope and they do the old "and the winner is"
Oh
type
yeah.
thing?
Oh,
Yeah, pretty
mortifying, I
But
think.
we had somebody come up right before they announced the winners and was like, guys, like, we think you won it. And it was one of the judges on the panel. So I guess we kind of knew
Yeah.
it was coming anyway when they announced it.
Yeah. But before that, I think it was very nerve-wracking.
Oh no, I was gonna say Stevie was recording that every time. It was like fifth place, he'll record it, fourth, third, and it got to the first one. It's like, "Oh, please, I keep recording now," and then it was. So it
The
was
feeling
fine.
was just amazing, though. I think none of us could believe it, but I think
No.
for all of us, it's all the highlight of kind of our career so far, of just being the underdogs and coming out on top was just a great feeling of success.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, like you've put the school on the map, obviously, but you've put yourselves on the map in the best way possible as well. And I know that your TV careers have all taken off. I know you've been on the BBC and the ITV, and Graham Norton's knocking on the door and all of that kind of stuff. But what was the aftermath like when there's definitely been this buzz that's been created around what you guys have achieved. So yeah, what happened after?
We couldn't believe it. We just thought, hold on.
Well, we definitely celebrated hard after.
That's an
Yeah.
understatement.
That's what I was hoping to hear. Yes.
In our
Yeah.
celebration, we were still saying, wait, hold on. We won. Adrian, we won the first place, first time going. It's all first, 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 first. So we were literally still not believing it, but we were partying hard as we promised that if we were going to win, we were going to party hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely kept true to British culture out there.
Excellent. Flying the flag. Flying the flag. Yeah, well, and you know now as well, right? You've now set a new benchmark, right? So all of the other schools will take the Edge Hotel School very, very seriously going forward. If this was a movie, they're probably all away in their little layers plotting your downfall next time, right? It's yeah. But this is the great thing about it. Seems to me, just on the basis of this conversation alone, that you guys really did kind of set a new benchmark as to what is possible with entering a competition like this. And that's only great for everyone, right? Because you know that they're going to come back harder next time. You guys don't have to worry about it because I assume that you're not entering ever again.
We've
And
done our bit.
but you know, the next gen will have to understand that that bar has been set. The rest will raise to that bar. So a new bar has to be set every single time that Edge want to put a team in. And I just absolutely applaud you guys for one, putting yourself out there to actually do this in the first place. I'm trying to transporting myself back to what I was like as a student, and there is absolutely no way in the world that I would have done anything like that. I'd have been the guy at the back of the classroom going, there's somebody else better for this than me. So massive, massive plaudits to you all, and wish you guys all the very best with the next, just wallow in this success for as long as you can. And yeah, I'm sure it'll pay dividends as you get absolutely bang crack on into your career.
If I could just add on one more thing, I
Absolutely.
think what set us apart from, the Swiss hotel schools is we were quite realistic with what we were saying. I found that a lot of their ideas were quite far-fetched. They weren't realistic in terms of finances. And I guess it comes from, they learn so much about these luxury brands. They forget that not every company has this disposable money to be spending. So I think because we get the real authentic experience in With No House, we understand the complications in industry and how finance is a huge challenge. So our ideas were very realistic, and it was something that most hotels could actually implement in the future.
A great point, right? I mean, it's one thing to be, lofty in your aspirations, but realism always has to play a part in business. Regrettably, you can push for sure, but you have to come back to realism at some point. Actually, there's another question before I let you all get on your way. You were called Team Zenith. How did that come about? Why was that the name?
We decided that we wanted a pyramid structure. We wanted something a bit unique and something that stood out, really. So none of us actually heard of the word before, but it basically means at the peak of success. So that's why we kind of decided that, because it just fit in with all of our branding. But ever since we kind of picked this unique name, I've been seeing it absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, me too.
It definitely wasn't that unique.
The pyramid. Sorry, I was just going to say the pyramid was supposed to represent, like Maslow's hierarchy, and essentially once you get to the top of the pyramid, you're at the peak of success. So that was the whole idea behind the pyramid.
Very good. Fernando, were you going to say something?
No, apparently Zenith is like a cleaning company for something, and we found out like a month later. It's like a toilet detergent. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, and that's what you had in your mind. Yeah. I've seen this toilet detergent, and I think that should be our name. Yeah.
That was it.
Well, look, in a weird kind of wonderful way, you've almost wrapped this up beautifully, because the name actually, if it represents the peak of success, then you guys are the peak of success for the level in which you have attained at this point in time in your lives. So I absolutely, as I say, I applaud you relentlessly for what you've achieved, for keeping little old Edge Hotel School on the map with a vengeance, and wish you guys all the very best in the next phase of your careers. I'll be watching with great interest.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
very much, Phil.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Well, if that doesn't restore your faith in the future of hospitality, I don't know what will. Team Zenith didn't just show up and win, they reminded us that sometimes the best ideas come with a bit of panic, a lot of teamwork, and just enough chaos to keep it interesting. Thanks for letting me break the break to bring this one to you, and until the next time, keep the chaos charming, the kindness flowing, and the hospitality human.